A new study out from mobile app security software company Nowsecure revealed that 70% of the top 250 Android apps leak sensitive personal data. And joining us now to discuss is Alan Snyder, CEO of Nowsecure. So before we get into what can be done about this, I want to make sure I understand what it means that an app is leaking personal data. Can you explain that?
Certainly. So think of it this way. The app, you put information into it, but the app also is going to communicate and do things for you. So you may be using Uber to get a ride. So that information, when that app is communicating, right, and it could be on the device because it's storing your data on the device, or it could be to talk to advertising agencies or to talk to the back-end servers of the company itself. All of those are opportunities for your data to be exposed. And so what we're seeing is when those apps are having that communications, they're exposing your information.
And by my information, you mean my name, my credit card, my address?
It could be your device ID, so all those things. It could be your location. So it could be giving your device has your geolocation. And so different apps have different issues, but yes.
So I'm just a consumer who uses this stuff and probably freely gives my information away. But on the security side of it, when you look at the data that is leaking out of these apps, basically our digital footprint is just leaking out into the world and people are picking up pieces of it along the way. What does that leave me vulnerable to?
So it leaves you vulnerable to a couple things. So it really comes down to what information is leaking. So it could be that you're leaking your social security number or the app is leaking your credit card number. So, well, that obviously is then going to expose you to fraud and people that want to do something bad with that. The other piece is it could be that if you're a certain high value target, like let's just say you were a Secretary of State or something like that, if you are using apps that are leaking information, well, now I can use it to track you. That's why geolocation would matter, things like that. So a lot of it depends on what's leaking, but it also depends on who you are.
Is using Instagram safe?
We don't get into specific apps because it's very important for us that when we see issues that we go and do a disclosure to the company so they have a chance to remediate it before we talk about it publicly. I can tell you I know of no issues relating to Instagram
Somewhat
specifically.
reassuring. That's okay. All right.
So.
What about, but so it does say Android. So what about iOS and apps that I have on my iPhone?
Yeah, so this study was specifically looking at the top 250 for Android. What I can tell you is we see similar, maybe not to the same degree, but we see very similar issues as it relates on iOS as well.
So do you use any apps?
I use apps all the time.
So it's not stopping you from going. I mean, it's not like that enough, is going wrong with it.
I mean, I think
keep everyone's doing their business.
We talk a lot about these sorts of stories, and then the kind of solution that we all come to is like, well, I'm just going to keep operating the way it is. And what kind of steps can we take?
Well, the way I think of it is, I use apps all the time, and I'm fortunate because I have a software company that we look at and understand the security of mobile apps. So I have an ability to use this one, not that one. And that's why we put this study out, is to help people understand that you as a consumer need to understand that these apps are, 70% are leaking your data, right? There's a high probability that if you're using Android, your data is being leaked, right? Now you may choose whether you care or not. So the things to do is, if it's an app you don't use very often, well, you might want to remove it from your device, right? If it's an app that you do use a lot, our view is don't stop using it, but you should go back to the developers and ask what are they doing around privacy? What are they doing to protect you? Because fundamentally, this issue, it's the developer's responsibility. It's not Google, it's not Apple. They provide the framework for it, but it's the developers that built it.
All right, so I have a lot of work to do.
You got a lot of letters.
I got a lot of letters to get on. All right, Alan Snyder, Nowsecure CEO, thanks so much.
Thank you.